Hi everyone, this is Matthew Janda for CardRunners, and I'm here with a video on 3-bet pots in position where we're going to try to make some default strategies. So what is the goal of this video? Well, firstly, I want to make some videos which aren't part of a series so viewers don't have to worry too much about seeing previous content. If you've already seen previous content, it will probably help in your understanding, but it's not crucial here. This can probably be one of the first videos of mine you've seen and you'll still do okay. The goal of this video is to make a good default game plan for 3-bet pots in position. I just did a blind play series where we talked a ton about 3-bet pots out of position, but now we're going to do in position. And in other words, I want to make like a go-to strategy that is reasonably easy to implement. I don't want viewers to hold themselves to an unrealistic standard. It's easy to list out every combo and feel good about it. Or feel good about how we play our entire range when we have 20 minutes, but how about 20 seconds? Here we'll focus on trying to create a strategy that's relatively easy to implement. So this point is very key, and I want to talk about this for a second. I haven't been shy about the fact that since Black Friday, as an American, I've played very little online poker. Now, I think in some ways that's been good. It's allowed me to really understand stuff. I've been able to spend time like writing out ranges, focusing on this theory, and hopefully you'll agree that I've gotten, reasonably good at it and I express my points reasonably clearly in videos. I also can spend a little bit extra time when I make a video because I'm not thinking to myself like, well, if I was grinding online right now, I'd be making this hourly rate. So, I want to like rush and make a video quickly that shows me playing. I can spend a little extra time. I'm not going to play if I'm not making the video. So I think that's one advantage of it. But one of the big disadvantages about it, which I don't tend to talk about too much, is when I'm making videos and spending all this time writing out every hand with a range, that's a lot easier to do than if you have 20 seconds to make your decision. So this video is really going to focus on, okay, we might understand the methodology for how you can sort of try to like craft a range in the way that's explained in the 2+2 book, but you don't have time to do that when you're actually playing. When you're actually playing, you have to be very, very, very quick. And the best players are very, very quick. And that's something that kind of gets lost in most of the videos I make. So I apologize if it seems like I'm ranting. That's not at all my intention. I'm just trying to really drive the point home that here we're going to try to be very realistic with ourselves. And we're going to try to come up with strategies that are reasonably easy to implement if you're not like a full-time pro. It's too common to get too focused on like looking at a single board texture when you start trying to write out every single hand combo. We're not doing that here. We just want to get, better at 3-bet pots in position. So if we're grinding out lower limits, we'll be able to right off the bat say, okay, I have some sense of what I should do with my range here in this board texture, even if I don't know what to do with every combo and my range is going to be, unbalanced in some way that my opponent's not realistically going to exploit me for. All right, so let's get started with some background theory, which we will need to know for this video. So we're going to assume that the original open is to 3 big blinds and that we're 3-betting in position to 8.5 big blinds total. If we do that and the blinds fold, the pot's going to be 18.5 big blinds on the flop. And if we are to get all in betting equal fractions of the pot on all 3 streets, then we can use this equation to figure out the growth rate of the pot. So the equation is 18.5, which is the original pot size on the flop, times R cubed. Since there's 3 rounds of betting left, it's cubed, and that equals the final pot size, which will be 201.5 big blinds, because we're going to assume 100 big blind stacks. All right, so if we solve for R here, then we get that we'll need to bet 61% of the pot on each street to get all the money in by the river. This probably seems really, really fast if you've never seen this stuff before. But basically all this is saying is if we're going to bet equal fractions of the pot on all 3 streets, then if we want to get all the money in by the river, we need to bet about 60% on each street. Continuing with the background theory, we know that if we were to bet half the pot, our opponent would need to call 67% of the time to keep us from being able to profitably bet any 2 cards. Since we bet more than half the pot, he'll need to call less. So, that's just a number you should be very familiar with, is if you bet 50% of the pot, then if your opponent doesn't want you to be able to profitably bet any 2 cards, he needs to defend 2/3 of the time. Here we're betting, a bit more than half the pot, so we'll have to defend less than 2/3 of the time if he doesn't want us to be able to profitably bet any 2 cards. It also may not be problematic if we can profitably bet any 2 cards on the flop. We gave our opponent a really good price pre-flop. We have position. We have the stronger range. maybe we can't just bet or maybe we can profitably bet any two cards on the flop and it's not a big deal.